How I became a full-time YouTuber. I think I've told this story once or twice during, some TGN live streams, some long live streams, but even I don't know how to find those anymore. And I think nowadays, especially a lot of kids want to be YouTubers because they spend so much time on YouTube watching these people they look up to, and they want to be as successful as them. But most of the stories about how people became full-time YouTubers are, I was making some videos, one of them blew up, and then I just kept making them. And hey, it just happened, dude. My story is a little bit less conventional, so I think it's worth sharing just to give you sort of a perspective of the different paths that exist to become a full-time YouTuber. Also, as a response to the occasional comment that says, how is this guy able to do full-time? He's only got 10,000 subs. Well, you're right. You can't be a full-time YouTuber with 10,000 subs. At the same time, you kind of can. So for those looking for a future in YouTube, as well as those that are just curious about how I got here, here's my story.
You're a legend in the eyes of those who live on the battlefield. That's why you have to handle this mission yourself. How and where you make it, well, that's up to you. Now go! And let the legend come back to life.
I was born in Portugal, Porto, Maia, but maybe that's going back a bit too far. Anyway, I grew up playing video games. That was my hobby, and it was always seen as sort of a hobby. The gaming industry wasn't nearly as big as it is right now, so for my parents, it was always hard to perceive video games as a career path unless I was gonna become a video game developer. I took some lessons in coding and I found that extremely boring, so immediately I crossed that off my list. I'm not becoming a developer for sure. At the time, I was also buying a lot of PC gaming magazines. I remember thinking, someone is writing these articles. I could perhaps, become one of those guys. But what am I gonna do with my life? Write essays for the rest of my life? Writing is boring. Those were the thoughts of a very young me. So yeah. In retrospect, I could have started a journalistic career way earlier in my life, but I just didn't want to write for a living. And now I kind of am writing for a living. So that's ironic. Anyway, gaming didn't seem like it was going to be a career path for me, so I looked to something else that could hold my interest, and that ended up being psychology. My educational path was pretty standard. I went through elementary school, high school, everything, and then I got to college and I entered psychology. And while I was studying psychology, I entered this Erasmus program, which is an exchange program where two different universities from two different countries exchange students for either a full year or half a year. And I went to Madrid for 6 months to study there. Now, while in Madrid, I made a lot of new friends, but most of the time I was actually on my own. And since I was on my own with my laptop, that's when I really got into World of Warcraft. In World of Warcraft, I tried joining a few different raiding guilds because the raids were really my favorite thing about that game, but none ended up having the schedule that would fit my needs. So I ended up creating a guild myself and finding a group of people that were comfortable raiding at the same time that I was comfortable raiding. It was around this time that I also realized that people on YouTube were making a living. And I thought that would be a cool thing to do, but also at the same time I had the notion that it was a very competitive space, that so many people were trying to do YouTube that only a selected few would find success. More often than not, people are not successful on YouTube, but you just don't hear those stories. So I knew the chances of me not being successful were way higher than me being successful. So without any expectation of finding success, I started making YouTube videos for my guild exclusively. The videos were even unlisted, most of them still are, but I was making these sort of updates to let the people in the guild know what we were doing every week. So every week I would release these vlogs saying, hey, we made progress on this raid, or we're doing this next week, or hey guys, we need more stuff for the guild bank, make sure you go fish and cook some food so we're ready for the raids. Little things like that, and this went on for a couple of years, I want to say. And during that time, I learned a lot about video editing, just on-camera presence, how to talk to a camera, all that sort of stuff. That was the beginning of my YouTube career. At some point, like most World of Warcraft players, I burned out on the game, and that point came during Cataclysm. The guild beat what was the final raid of that game at the time. We defeated Deathwing, which was something that I wanted to do for a very long time. So right after we defeated Deathwing, I said, hey guys, I'm done with the game. And it sucks for a guild master to say that, because now everyone that was in the guild needs to find another guild. But I met so many cool people during that time that I didn't want to lose touch with them. And since I was not going to stop playing video games, I decided to create this group, this small community, to let each other know what we were playing at the time so they could join us if they were interested. And that's pretty much how Magical Noob was born. Now, we definitely lost a lot of people from back in the day. Not a lot of people transitioned out of World of Warcraft, and some of them transitioned, but no one stick to the same games, really. Everyone kind of picked their own, and they went their separate ways. But I started finding some success with Magical Noob videos. So that's how I ended up joining TGN, and this was during my last year of my master's degree in psychology. So I got my partnership with TGN. They were the first ones to accept me, and I noticed that on their website, they had some job offers. And I thought, okay, I'm almost done with my master's degree in psychology. The space in psychology is also incredibly crowded. I'm most likely going to be unemployed. I might start looking to pursuing a different career path if this psychology thing doesn't end up working. So besides me doing the psychology degree at the same time as the YouTube channel, I was now looking for another career inside TGN. And the job offer ended up being for a recruiting position. Now, everyone with a YouTube channel knows this, but there are a few people on each network that are recruiters, and what they do is they send messages to YouTube channels to see if those channels won't become partners of your network. It was the worst job in the world. Every time I get one of those messages, I'm like, thanks dude, but no thanks. And most of the time I would send those messages to channels. I knew I was being an annoying prick because no one wants to be spammed with those things. And most of the time people wouldn't reply, and when they would reply, sometimes they wouldn't be interested. I don't think I closed a single deal for TGN. I was terrible at my job, but also I wasn't getting paid unless I was closing deals. So it's not like TGN was wasting money on me or anything. Anyway, that's an experience I don't recommend anyone doing, but that did get me into an email chain. And one day we get an email saying, hey, does anyone know how to live stream? We want to start testing live streams on TGN Twitch channel. And through this experience that I've accumulated, I knew how to stream. Not only how to make videos, but streaming was actually pretty easy. I knew how to talk to a camera, I knew how to entertain an audience, so I replied, yeah, sign me up for that. And it was just a test, it wasn't really a paid job, it was just something we volunteered to do. But later, TGN started investing in that Twitch channel, and that unpaid job became a paid job. So now I was a part of a team that was streaming every week on TGN, and it was paying very well. I mean, at the end of the month, I would make like a minimum wage, but I would work like 6 hours a week. And minimum wage Portugal, you know, doesn't sound like much, but our cost of living is also lower. And since I was getting paid by TGN, which is a Canadian company, they were paying US prices, so that worked out great for me. Anyway, we did that for like a couple of years, and yeah, we tried a lot of different ideas, and I really liked a lot of the concepts that we had. None of them really took off in terms of popularity, but we had fun doing it. In the meantime, TGN opened up this contest called the TGN Icon, where creators would submit videos every week or every 2 weeks, and they would review those videos, and then the people would vote for which video they liked the most, and it was a popularity contest, pretty much. We made it to 3rd place with our videos, and that got us a huge boost, and not in terms of popularity, but in terms of equipment, because TGN was like, yeah, you get some prizes. I think we ended up getting more prizes than we deserved through the contest, because we were also part of the streaming team, and it was MF Pally time. I think it was at the meeting where the prizes were being discussed, and he brought up the argument, hey, these guys are streaming for TGN, we should buy them some more equipment, like not as a prize, but kind of as a prize. So that was a huge help. Anyway, we kept streaming on Twitch until Heroes of the Storm came. And with Heroes of the Storm, MF Pally time and the crew found a lot of success with the early alpha and the beta of that game, and they decided to start live streaming on Twitch. So this whole team that was streaming on Twitch, they all got the boot, pretty much, because TGN Squadron was coming in and replacing the whole content with just Heroes of the Storm. And at that point, I still had a chance in psychology, but I was loving what I was doing so much that when everyone got the boot, it made me really nervous. I remember coming into a meeting, and that meeting was Keisha and Derek Howie. You guys don't need to know who those people are, but if you do, I mean, if you follow TGN, you might know. And Keisha was like, so TGN Squadron is coming in and taking over the Twitch channel, so your services are no longer required. So I was getting fired for the very first time in my life, and was very, stressful because it came almost without warning. And then she followed up with, but we really like you and we would like to use your services for the YouTube channel. My God, Keisha, why don't you start with that? Almost had a heart attack there. And that's how I got started on TGN's YouTube. And TGN's YouTube just had a lot of growth potential. Like, I started as a simple video editor. Then I also started writing scripts. I also started voicing and showing up on videos. I just kind of grew from there to the point that I also became a channel manager, which is, you know, not the guy in charge, but the guy who also like uploads videos, writes descriptions, tags, and sort of does some quality control, reviews videos before they're uploaded. And like every one of these tasks, editing, voicing, writing scripts, every one of those has a price. And that nailed me a pretty damn good salary. Later, TGN went from just covering general games to covering Overwatch because of YouTube algorithm changes. Like YouTube likes to reward similar types of content and not channels that cover everything. And if you've been following this channel, if you know anything about me, you know that I'm not the biggest Overwatch fan. So I went through another stressful period in my career where they said, you know what, we're kind of spending a lot of money on you and you're not the biggest Overwatch fan. We could be spending this money on someone else. Why don't we do this? You stay channel manager, you review quality, you upload videos, but you start something else. Because we really like your personality on camera, we really like the way you work. So why don't you just start another channel and we'll see if it's successful. We'll test it for 3 months. And this happened sort of at the same time as Hengist got kicked from TGN and Rurikhan got kicked from TGN. And I sort of interpreted this as a, what do you want to do for your last 3 months on the company? Because starting a YouTube channel in 2017, it's gonna be tough finding success because it's more crowded than ever. But I took the challenge and I said, okay, I'll make an anime channel, a channel about anime games, and that's now TGN Anime. They gave me a budget to work with. I basically write and voice every video and then I send them off to an editor and they edit the videos. That's what the budget is for. And the channel's been going great. It's been 5 months now, so I guess the testing period is over and the channel is considered on its way to success. And again, because I'm running the whole channel, that actually nets me a pretty good salary, at least by Portuguese standards. And through this whole thing, I was able to understand YouTube a lot better, to the point that I think I now have a portfolio where if TGN decides they no longer need me, I can find work somewhere else. And at the same time, I've been uploading here on Magical Noob whenever I can, and I do want to upload more regularly, but you know, there's this other TGN job that pays the bills, and I need to stay on that. But that's basically how I became a full-time YouTuber. I didn't make a video that blew up. I made good quality videos that got noticed by a big company that wanted to work with me. And I think it all started with something that every YouTuber will advise is make stuff, make content, get comfortable with your editing software, get comfortable talking to a camera, create your own portfolio, because only by doing things and putting them out there will you actually improve. And then just hustle and take every single opportunity you have. You want to work in games, right? So okay, let's start as a recruiter who looks at gaming YouTube channels. I mean, that's not the ideal job, but maybe that's a stepping point to something else. You wanted to be a YouTuber, you got a deal for streaming on Twitch, maybe take that. And you just hustle and you take what you can get and you keep putting out content more and more and more. And that's basically my story. That's where we are right now. I don't really know how to close this video. I hope the story was at least a little bit interesting to you. I decided to share it because I've been asked this a couple of times. And I like to document stuff. I like stuff to be recorded and uploaded. I like to tell stories, and this was my story. Thank you for watching. Here's a couple more videos where I'm talking about things. Bye.